Hello, friends. My name is Johnny Isorena, creative director of the blog Catholic Ha, where I talk about Catholic topics presented in design related concepts. So, a little bit of background about me. Currently, I'm working as an art director on staff in a company called Colby and Faber. It's a company that produces different brands and products of mostly Catholic related items for everyday life. No, so but before that, I worked different jobs in the advertising industry as a graphic designer, as an art director, and eventually as a creative director for a digital marketing startup. So I also grew up Catholic. I was raised in a Catholic charismatic environment. The group was called the Servants of God Catholic Community, and it really helped form my faith. So I'm so blessed to be with you in this Sulong online conference. Marketing Jesus, right? No, so it's a topic that's really close to my heart. Probably because it's where my creative background and spirituality really intersect. So I guess it's something I'm really, really passionate about because if you're like me, I consume a lot of like modern media. I watch a lot of films and movies and read a lot of books. And when you start to notice na parang, especially when they portray our faith, when they portray Jesus, or at least when they talk about him, not just in films and TV, pero pati na rin sa mga conversations in social media, minsan mapapaisip ka talaga na parang, do people really know who Jesus is? Do people really know what they're talking about? Who they're talking about? Madalas yan, that's a common feeling that I get when watching most of the stuff that's showing in theaters right now or like on-demand watching services. No? So it's something that has to be addressed, no? So I think there's a really huge call. There's a call for evangelization. There's a call to really to directly address this lack of knowing, this lack of catechism, no? So a podcast that I've recently been starting to listen to, Unboxing Catholicism. They always open with the line that says there's a crisis in catechism, no? So, and medyo parang I'm starting to feel that they're right. And I'm starting to see what they're talking about, right? And as I've said, no, there is like a huge need for evangelization. And probably when we hear that word, evangelization, first thing that comes to mind, that's not a job for me. That's a job for like our priests. That's a job for our bishops. That's a job for the catechists and the lay preachers. Problema nila yan. No, pero mga kapatid, if you're a baptized Christian just like me, I have good news for you because we can do something about it also, no? So since we are baptized Christians, we share in this mission of Christ. We share in this mission of bringing the good news to others, to bringing the good news of the gospel to people who have not heard it before, or maybe have heard a different version of it that isn't quite true, that isn't quite sound. So that's beautiful because we have sessions like this on how to make that happen. And most recently, Pope Francis actually asked for prayers for this specific cause. Sabi niya, we pray that every baptized person may be engaged in evangelization, available to the mission by being witnesses of a life that has the flavor of the gospel. No? So, sabi niya, every baptized person may be engaged in evangelization. So, I hope through this conference, through these sessions, it can act as an answer to that prayer. So, the question for us now, mga kapatid, is how do we become witnesses of the gospel in this modern world that would allow us to capture hearts and souls for the Lord? No? A medyo lengthy question, but I think that's what we're gonna be trying to address in this session. I can think of a couple of ideas, but I'm gonna pull a quote from Bishop Robert Barron. So his idea is to lead with beauty, So he says, there is something unthreatening about the beautiful, which is what makes it so powerful as a pathway to God. First the beautiful, then the good, and finally the true. That's the right pattern. Catholic creatives should lead with beauty. Nice quote. I love this quote so much. He says to lead with beauty. By the way, this is a pull from a book called Created. It's by Likeable Art. It's about bridging the gap between your art and your creator. So the quote is from Bishop Robert Barron. He says, lead with beauty. And just to expound a bit further, I'm going to read an explanation by him also. So he says, consider a young man watching a skillfully played game of baseball. It awakens in him a profound desire to play like the players in the field. Then once he begins himself, the actual playing of the game teaches him from the inside the rules and rhythms of baseball. It would be completely inadequate to draw a kid into the world of baseball by starting with the clarification of the rules or with a set of drills. Rather, we need to show him the beauty of baseball, the beautiful, so that he will want to play the good. And having played, he will know how to play, which is the true. So I think that's what he means by leading with beauty. I think that's the challenge for us. How do we tell our story of witnessing? How do we tell our witnessing story in a way that we lead with beauty, and that the way our storytelling of that witnessing would lead others to the good and then eventually to the true? So I think this is one of the reasons I came up with Catholic Ha. So I make projects on this blog like Kulay Maria, which I'm going to be talking about later, and another project called the Marian Cinematic Universe, because I think it's my way of leading with beauty. So creating something interesting and novel, and hope that it sparks an interest in the viewer of what it's about. I think leading with beauty, I think it's like you're working in partnership with the Holy Spirit. Like parang you light the match, pero you let him fan the flame. So in hope that it leads the viewer to the good and then to the true, that it leads an inspiration on whoever views the art to dig in further. One example I can give is probably, like I mentioned before, Marian Cinematic Universe. So it's a really tongue-in-cheek project that I just wanted to try, have a swing at, because if you're a fan of like these movies, when Marvel releases a phase of their films, like parating may mga logos yan a lot of different logos, and then people would really just talk about the logos, so they would find clues what it's about. So I was like, I took inspiration from that, and I thought, what if the mysteries of the Rosary were adapted into a cinematic universe, something like that? Because it's pretty much the same thing. It's all interconnected. It tells a saga of how the Lord loves us, and you really you have it naka-partition na, di ba? I have joyful, sorrowful, glorious, and luminous, di ba? So I did these graphic logos in a way that has that kind of effect. So is it beautiful? I hope it is. Did it lead to conversation? Yes, people talked about it, and people created their own versions of it also. So that's something I'm really happy about. It led people to the good. They wanted to do something like that, which was really inspiring. And having done that, I hope that it led them to a better understanding of these mysteries, of the story of love told by the mysteries of the Rosary, and instilled in them a better devotion, a bigger love for our mother. So I think that's how I really wanted to lead with beauty in terms of starting a blog like this. Right now, baka you're thinking, brother, I'm not a creative. I'm not talented in arts and crafts. I can't draw. So I have good news for you also. So mga kapatid, we're all given different talents. We're all blessed very, very differently from one another. And if you're in ministry, probably gasgas na tong line na to. You've probably heard this many different times. But we truly are. We have different talents. And it's a matter of finding our gift, finding what God has entrusted us with, and letting that just blossom, and digging into that, leaning into that, and letting that gift turn into something beautiful, and let that the beauty of that thing, lead others towards him. And if you are a creative, if you have embraced your creative gift, your creative talent, no, you don't have to really stress. Ano bang ideas? I'm out of ideas. Mga kapatid, you have the entirety of creation at your disposal. No? So as a creative professional kasi, I'm always expected to come up with concepts. I'm always expected to come up with new ideas. How do we sell this product? No, everything's been done before. What's something new? What's something new people haven't done? People haven't tried. And a way I've found to cope with this is to always look at things in a different perspective, in a different angle, to look at creation in a different way. No? And when I talk about creation, it's not always just like the trees and the animals and the rock formations. Of course, those are also part of creation, but don't let yourself be limited to what we can see. Also take into account that the things that we feel, the emotions we feel, no? So events that have happened to us or to others, the way things work, no? Approaching it at a scientific angle, siguro. So it's a matter of seeing things in new perspectives and different angles and using these truths to reveal a bigger truth, to reveal your story that the Lord wants you to tell. Like I've always reflected on, I think creativity talaga, mga kapatid, creativity is often just working with creation to get a glimpse of the Creator. No? So we've been entrusted creation. Let's look at it through fresh new eyes. Let's look at it in different angles. Let's look at it in different possibilities. You have endless possibilities to really try new things. And I'm sure you'll end up with something beautiful. Another project I wanted to talk about in terms of this is Kulay Maria. So this is another project I do every May of the year. It's where I take different color palettes. I make different color palettes based on the different apparitions of Mary. So I got the idea because I attended a Marian talk about the different apparitions and images of Mary. So that inspired me. So, diba, Mary appears differently to the different people she apparates to. Different clothing, different colors. So I was like, yeah, let's talk about that. So I wanted to break that down. Like parang, I wanted to make different color palettes based on these things, these apparitions. No, one, I was able to make different wallpapers for different for devotees. No, and two, I was able to make color palettes for creatives, no, for them to use for their projects, maybe logos siguro or posters, no, that are Marian themed. Kasi on the top of your head, like when you think Marian colors, ang unang-unang mo may isip is blue and yellow and whites, no? But if you dig into the history, the things that have happened, the way Mary has been portrayed in art, ang dami. There are a lot of ways to do it, to be inspired by. So it's just a matter of looking things at a different angle, at a different perspective, and really leaning into it, no? So that's Kulay Maria. And mga kapatid, I think it's also important for my last point to really find community for this. No, it's important to find community in this journey. So it's gonna be exhausting if you're gonna do this alone. Also, it really helps to see what your other brothers and sisters are making. Be inspired by them. No, work and collaborate with them. Ask them how they do things and learn from one another. Right now, there are a lot of online creative communities, such as Catholic Creative Artists. You have the Catholica Creative Community. And personally, di ito bola ha. I've seen a lot of inspiring people doing incredible work. One, age doesn't matter. If you think you're too old to learn a new skill, I've seen people learn vector illustrations for the first time on PowerPoint, and it's beautiful. And if you think naman you're too young to be taking on difficult projects, you'll find mentors that have been through it before. I cannot stress this enough, and it's also a message that I have to remind myself often, that you are not alone. No, you don't have to feel like you're doing life on your own anymore. You have communities. Find them, reach out to them, connect with people, and let's journey together in this creative pursuit. No. So, mga kapatid, just to wrap it up very, very quickly, marketing Jesus in this modern world really requires us to be witnesses of the gospel and to package, to wrap that witnessing and present it to the world. We really need to lead with beauty. We have to be really creative about it. Let's create something beautiful out of our witnessing so that it leads people to the good and then eventually to what's true. So with that, keep on creating. Always going to be a fan of what you create. See you soon and see you online.